Hey everyone, we're back down here at the shop. We're going over a couple of passive capture pieces of gear. Remember, active capture, you go out and actually employ the method that you're using, like a seine, you actually go out and pull it through the water. Passive capture, you actually put the gear out there and then the fish is caught by its own movements. So we've got two nets here. We've got a trammel net and we've got a gill net. Trammel net is 3 walls of netting, right? You've got this green line here is the float line. This is the lead line, right? It's weighted, so this keeps it down on the bottom. And then what happens is a fish comes up and swims in, and the fish's instinct, right, is to try to power through. And what happens is this kind of closes like a purse behind it. It kind of keeps swimming, and then this outer wall of mesh closes behind it and closes it. All tangled up here. Closes it like a drawstring, like you're drawing a string, like on a hooded sweatshirt or a marble bag or something. So many walls of mesh here, right? As opposed to a gill net, right? Here's the float line, here's the lead line on this gill net in a single wall of mesh, right? And what happens is a fish comes and it swims, and its first instinct is to try to power through, and as it gets its head through, right, flares its gills, and then it just can't get back out. Fish don't really have a reverse. And so they try to power through and they get gilled. They literally get their gills wedged, or their body wedged, or their teeth in the gill net itself, right? So this is a gill net. Now the way you measure a net, I don't know if you can see this really well, but you've got the distance between the knots along one side is called bar mesh. So right, this would be about 50 millimeter bar mesh. And then the other way is you take the diamond and you stretch it out like that, and that should be twice the bar mesh. And it's okay, I'll get it on there. This should be about 100, and it is. So when you go to order a net, right, you're going to be ordering it by the bar mesh or by the stretch mesh. So bar mesh is half of stretch mesh, or stretch mesh is twice bar mesh. So gill net, trammel net, both passive capture gears, right, the parts of the net that you need to know, the float line, the lead line on each net. Hey everybody, we're out here in the parking lot taking a look at the parts of a trap net. Again, most trap nets are the same. Some have a few additions, but this is a Pennsylvania style trap net. A fyke net would be this net with a couple of wings. I'll go over that in just a second. But the first part that we're looking at here would be the lead, right? The lead, part of it goes to the net, and part of it would be attached to the shore. So you imagine that part of the net down there is attached to the shore, usually along some shoreline feature like a point, right? So if you were a fish, you'd be swimming along the shoreline, in this case the garage, you would encounter the lead, and because fish like to follow things, right, they would encounter the lead and they would move along it. And this net is for shallow water, otherwise the fish will swim right over the top of it, right? So the fish would swim along the lead and swim right into the open part of the trap net. And this is a beat up old trap net, but again, they're all the same. They would swim through here, and it's kind of like a minnow trap. This would be the box part of the trap net. And then you see this would be the hoop section of the trap net, and you see it's kind of like a funnel, right? And you have funnel, and then they would end up in the pot, or the cod end of the net, right? The pot. So, and then we see back here, we have our trap net anchor that holds the whole ball of wax in place. This trap net anchor would be dug into the substrate, and this buoy would be floating around on the surface, right? And so to pull the net, you would actually drive up to the buoy first, and then pull, and you'd pull the net right onto the deck of the boat. You'd undo the cod end, right? And all the fish would end up, you'd funnel the fish out into the tote. Now on a buoy, you have to have a couple of things, right? You have to have your name, SUNY Cobleskill, Mark Cornwell, usually your address, and then your collecting permit number. Okay, those 3 things need to go on a buoy when you put out a piece of gear. The LCP stands for License to Collect and Possess. So this would be a trap net, and if you were going to add a couple of things to this trap net. You would add wings. So some of the big trap nets that you see would actually have a wing that would go this way, and a wing that would go off that corner and go that way, so that when the fish came along the lead, they would have a wing that would continue to funnel them into the net. Some of those nets are called Fike nets. Okay? See you, everybody.